remind you that you need to not think about all your battles, but you need to remember all the victories that you came through. The times that you got divorced and nobody thought you could be happy again. You need to cut your own net. The time that you lost all your money and nobody could help you, then you got blessed again. The time that everybody thought you were foolish and God said, no, I've got a plan for you. Some of you need to remember the times that God allowed you to cut the net of your life. God, I lost everything I had, but here I still stand. God, I didn't know if I could make it, but you brought me through. God, I didn't know if I could preach another message, but you increased my faith. God, I felt like giving up, but you sent somebody to encourage me. And before you know it, you no longer will dwell on your battle, but you'll begin to think about all those times that you weren't supposed to make it. And then before it's all said and done, you'll be able to cut the nets down and say, God, when I didn't think I could make it, I became a bracket buster, and you allowed me to win. You allowed me to get victorious. You allowed me to do what nobody thought I could do. You got to think about the victories that you've already won. Thank you, God, even when I wondered and questioned you, all the while you were setting me up to cut the nets. All the while you were setting me up for a victory. All the while you were just increasing my faith. All the while you were just allowing me to do the unexpected. God has done so much for us, and sometimes we forget to give him the credit. And we try to live and go through our new defeats based on our old losses. And God says, no, you can't base your losses on a new battle. Don't you dare forget you cut the nets. Some of you were an unwed, pregnant teen mother, and nobody thought you was going to make it, and you even had ideas of getting rid of that baby. But now when you look at that grown child, you remember that you cut the nets, and that was the one that God destined me to have. Some of you got messed up in a marriage and got divorced and didn't think you was ever going to make it, but now every time you look at your new husband or wife, you need to remember that you cut the nets, and God has blessed you. Some of you lost all your money and got robbed and got cheated, but every time now you go to McDonald's and buy you a cheeseburger, you better remember that you cut the nets, that God gave you another chance, another opportunity, and he caused you to be victorious. And forget the God of the situation. Too many times we dwell on the loss that we're going through and forget about the victory you've already been through. And there's some of you need to remember you have already cut these nets down. Look, some of you now, I'm going to remind you today, some of you now have victory over drugs. Some of you now have victory over alcohol. Some of you now have victory over depression. Some of you now have victory over that bad marriage. Some of you now, listen to me, some of you now have a high school diploma on your wall and nobody thought you could. Some of you now enrolled in college classes and nobody thought you could. Some of you have already cut more nets down than many people could ever have imagined. Some of you got a college degree raising kids and working jobs. You got a degree on your wall. You see, you already are a bracket buster. You already have shocked some. You already have done what many others were unable to do. Don't you ever let a minor setback, listen to me now, don't ever let a minor setback cause you to forget the major comeback that God has already given you.
Hey.